7 o'clock it is, and as promised, it's time to take a look at the latest news now. Dedicated firefighters and volunteers were the only barrier which stood between a raging bushfire and disaster in the resort town of Cape St. Francis in the Eastern Cape late yesterday. Now, thousands of hectares of bushveld were destroyed in the fire, but the houses were saved, with some homes being partially burnt. The blaze started on Saturday and was fanned by strong winds.
Sunday afternoon, a number of areas had been placed on standby to evacuate their homes. Strong winds made the fire difficult to contain. A helicopter brought in from Knysna proved to be the best defence. As the lights started fading, the helicopter was grounded.
I'm worried about tonight because the helicopter has to go when it gets dark, and I think he's done his 10 hours and it's still raging. It rages through, so it's going to come back again.
The first homes to come under threat were at the St. Francis Bay airfield.
We were advised by the NSRI to leave our home around about 3 o'clock today, and lots of our good friends came to help us, and we took documents and photos, and that's all that's important.
A shift in the wind direction was the only thing that saved this house from being burnt to the ground. For the most part, this fire was contained on Saturday. Good rains on Saturday night dampened it down. But then the wind changed to southwesterly, a strong southwesterly on Sunday, which fanned the flames, causing it to jump the R330, this road that I'm standing on, and carry on burning behind me towards the resort of Cape St. Francis. By Sunday evening, the fire had reached Cape St. Francis, and mayhem broke out trying to prevent the houses from being engulfed by the 30-metre-high flames. Meanwhile, foreigners had been evacuated from the Cape St. Francis resort and were being housed at the St. Francis Bay Golf Club. Extra fire crews were brought in from Nelson Mandela Bay to relieve the exhausted Coga firefighters.
All the fire people are at the Cape St. Francis Bay area trying to break the fire from the southern side of Cape St. Francis. By
now, much of Cape St. Francis was engulfed in a firestorm. The wind sending embers from one side of the road to the other, starting fires on the thatch-roofed houses. By the early hours of the morning, the main threat to the houses had passed, but the fire was still burning strongly in thick bushveld. Janine Lee, SABC News, Cape St. Francis.